Hello and welcome. This is episode 54. I am alive. I am here. I made it. Sorry for the long delay. Hasn't been an episode for more than a month. My Oura ring says my resilience is down to limited, which is the lowest of the low. I was away for some time. You know what? In all that time, I still paid all the subscriptions for the stuff I use for the podcast, even though I didn't make it. So if that makes you feel any better, you did not only suffer from this, the podcast paid the price. It's all gonna be butt jokes today because there's a lot of improv. So a stream of consciousness it is, and let's get at it. So some updates. The reason why I was away for so long, I went to Greece. I went touring to show the baby everywhere. It was my duty as a Greek to show the little guy to every yaya and cousin. And there are a lot of them. So 1 month was given to Greece. We went on the south side where people throw money when they see the baby. They put money in the crib. They put money on his pants. It was really good. It felt like he was a stripper, as my girlfriend said. But we managed to do a really good tour there. And he got a lot of love, a lot of wishes, and a little bit of money, which is quite funny because I was asking him, when are you going to start paying for the rent and the rest? So he made the beginning. We managed not to catch the evil eye. If you don't know the evil eye, maybe I need to make an episode for it, but it's a thing and you can catch it if people are jealous or give you compliments they don't mean. Or sometimes if there are way too many compliments, it can just overturn it and give the evil eye. So I don't think the baby got the evil eye because he had a great time in the trip, but I think I caught all the bad eyes. Because let me tell you, the first health update of this story, we took the plane to go to Greece, and because I'm overly stressed with what others think, because I'm a people pleaser, I made these little zip bags for every other passenger. And these zip bags had earplugs, they have candy, they had a chocolate egg, because we went for Easter, and a little note that said, hey, this is the baby's first flight, and we don't know how it will go. Here's a small treat. Here's some earplugs just in case. Oh, and I used the emotional hook. I said, he's going to meet his grandparents for the first time in Greece. And everyone was like, oh, this is so cute. So just distributing those, we got a lot of cute eyes and people were really nice with him, which again, if this is done in a great magnitude, it can cause the evil eye. He was super calm. He was breastfeeding during takeoff and during landing. If you breastfeed at these 2 times, then the ears can equalize and babies don't cry. The main reason why babies cry in the planes is because their ears cannot equalize, so the pressure builds up and it's just uncomfortable. But if the baby manages to swallow or chew during the takeoff and the landing, which are the times of the highest pressure changes, then most likely they're going to have a great time. The airplane is just like a huge white noise. All the engine sounds all the time. They're great for babies to sleep. So we had a smooth flight. We arrived in Athens and then I offboard. Oh, here's one more trick. If you're a couple with a baby, the best trick is that one person boards first. If you have a family, you can board first in most airlines, but don't bring the baby in first as well. They don't like to be sitting in an airplane seat just waiting. That's no bueno. So one person keeps the baby at the gate, walking around, having a great time, and the other person goes with all the stuff. So parent number 1, go in, put all the stuff overhead, because if you're too late, let's face it, your hand luggage might not be able to fit. The second parent boards last. Be the last person that enters the plane. Minimize the time that the kid needs to stay in the plane. So this is one trick. Now, as we offboarded the plane, my girlfriend went to the first toilet available at the airport, and I was waiting with the baby in my hands. And then because we offboarded first, the entire airplane crowd was still coming behind us. And I was just holding the baby outside of the toilet, and then everyone gave him smiles, laughs and all of that. And I think this is where the accumulation of goodwill wishes turned the evil eye. And me, as a parent, I went in to absorb this evil eye, just like the mom of Harry Potter. When Lord Voldemort tried to kill him, she protected the child, she became the shield. And so I literally got an eye infection, which, to be fair, I think I had it since Berlin. But when we arrived in Athens in 2 days, my eyes were swollen. I just had this swelling all the way down to my cheek. Like, it was scary. I was thinking maybe I cannot see to drive, to do the mission and take the baby to all the relatives. Apparently what I had is called a chalazion. It's not the normal thing that people get a red eye and then it goes away. This is what I thought. No, chalazion is a different thing where your eye gets red, but if you don't do anything about it, it keeps swelling and swelling, and then they need to cut it open. Now we're too deep into that. I had my eye cut in a very tiny corner just to release some of all of that thing that was gathered. I should have done a warning about this, but it was properly bad. I was taking drops for weeks and weeks, and my eyes looked terrible. Let's just say the baby made it well, and I took all the evil eye, transformed it into an eye infection, and now I'm almost good with that. But now that we touched a bit on the baby, here's a quick 4-month baby status. If you're interested, the baby at 4 months has unlocked the following features. The eyes can follow you, and they can lock on a target. It feels like an AI that is getting trained, but before that, the eyes are just all over the place. You talk to the baby, and it's looking at the ceiling. Like, seriously, it's a very bizarre thing. It can make you feel small. You're like, hey, I'm your parent. Can you please acknowledge that I exist? I take care of you, making sure you're alive. No, babies just look all over the place. They don't understand. They can look you in the face. In 4 months, that has been unlocked. He can follow us around, see us at a distance. Second one, we have sounds. The baby is making a pigeon sound. Cannot explain it otherwise, but there is a kind of sound that if you play it back to him, he will play it back again. So it's almost like a pigeon conversation. So we have that. We have a lot of saliva. He's drooling a lot. The first time you see it, you're like, what the fuck, is this baby broken? Is there something wrong with it? He's just making bubbles of saliva. But no, that's normal. It's good. They are preparing the mouth for teeth and exploring over there. So this system has been upgraded as well. Next major update, the hands have stopped startling. Startling is when the hands just move frantically everywhere. Babies hit their faces, slap themselves. They have no control. It's a new body. They're just running the software that activates everything all of the time. But now, hands have more intention. He can grab things. He can hang from things. And this grabbing is still in the small versions. So he's grabbing everything around him, which means that towels and blankets are a thing of the past, because he could grab them and put them over his head and say goodbye to the world, and we don't want that. And probably the biggest one I haven't shared so far is that he's laughing, he's smiling, he's opening the mouth and quenching the eyes, which is probably the biggest perk. Like in the beginning, the first month sometimes, no disrespect, it can feel a little bit like this creature, like this Pokemon that you take care of and you feed and you hold, but you don't have that much interaction. Once the smiling and laughing starts and he can just look you in the eyes and give you a big giggle, then you're done. I think that reward can get me going as a parent, probably for life. So I have +1 person who laughs at my jokes. But he'll become more strong, so he feels less fragile. Before you were afraid that you can break him if you do something wrong. Now, it will still be bad, but he feels less breakable. He doesn't like to sleep on the chest anymore because He wants to face outwards. He wants to be seeing what you're seeing. The world is too exciting. So the comfort of just lying on my chest and me reading something or doing other things doesn't exist. Now he wants to be entertained. He can also lift his head all the way, and very soon he will start rolling. Rolling is the next milestone of scariness, because then you cannot leave him on the couch or anywhere. He could just roll down to the ground. So this was a quick update, a lot of upgrades. Still not interested in food. I eat in front of him in a very extravaganza way. He gets very fascinated, but he's not interested yet to put something in his mouth. By the way, I know how this works. I'm not just trying to feed him, but it's good to eat in front of the baby, gets them used to the process. I think for now, he just thinks I am Houdini. I make big, bright things disappear, showing him a red tomato, and then all of a sudden, there's no tomato. But enough with the baby. Let's get to other stuff. What has happened during this time? I watched a few things. I managed to watch Adolescence. Everyone has watched it by now. It was pretty good. Like the one shot. Good topic about the toxic masculinity. But what I loved the most was the heavy accent. I talked with that heavy accent for at least a day. I talked with a heavy accent for a day. Or something like this. I cannot do it anymore. Once you watch the series, you can do it for a bit, then it fades out. But the second thing I am watching is Dark. I don't know if you've seen, it's a series, it's on Netflix. It's 8.7 on IMDb. So ranking very high. And I think it's supposedly one of the most mind-bending ones. So this is the only thing I knew, that it's a bit creepy and that everyone gets confused with timelines. And I have to say, I'm almost done with the first season and I can't wait to finish it so I can go on YouTube and write Dark Explained and watch the video. I think I understand a lot of what's happening, but tiny spoiler, not a spoiler. It's a thing with time travel situations and different scenarios. So you have one person who is here at this age, but then back then in a different age, and they change the present and the future. And one thing that I'm not good at is remembering faces. This series follows a lot of different people. I have the same problem when I started watching Game of Thrones. It took me the entire first season to understand who is who. Like, this was my biggest problem. I was like, who is this person again? Do we like them or not? Are they good? Are they bad? Are they with the people who did this or that? Every time there is a pretty complex setup to put with characters and alliances and faces, I get confused. Now Dark takes that, then makes it travel in time, and then you need to remember 2 faces for each person or 3 faces. This is them as a child, this is them as a middle person, this is them as an old person, and then try to follow the plots in between the different timelines. I am telling you, I was not ready for this brain requirement. But I think I have almost everything in my head, but just I would love to get an explainer video at the end that just puts every single little detail in the right order to also understand how much I have it right. The series is also German, and I decided to not do English audio. I don't know why. But this is extra difficult because everything is in German. I just read the subtitles and it seriously makes the coordination between the plot, the people, the faces, and everything more intense. But I'm watching it and it's good. Keeps you on your toes. I only have one thing I don't understand. And if you are a Dark fan, it's not a big spoiler. Why does the police never search the entire cave system? They've printed thousands of flyers. They're making announcements everywhere all of the time. How is it possible that in that location there's only one little police tape, the same we put in Greece when we don't want someone to park in a parking spot, that prohibits them from accessing that cave, supposedly, and no one went inside to look in the caves? People are missing. You've looked everywhere, they're nowhere, and then there is a system with some caves. How about you go look at the caves? How is this? I don't get that. For me, that's the biggest hole in the plot. If you watch it, tell me your opinion, but how does it stand that they haven't gone all the way inside those caves to map them out? What are you watching these days? Hit me with any recommendations. I have 2 weeks before I start going back to work, so I will make every second count. And by that I mean play with my son and not watch anything, but I have an extensive list. I can save it. But enough with the me type of news. I know I haven't been here for a month, but I will stop treating this podcast like my personal diary for just a bit and tell you some news that are, let's say, interesting. So one has to do with deep sea mining. This is mining the bottom of the seas because nothing is left to mine anymore. Why don't we go destroy another ecosystem we know nothing about? But if you haven't heard episode 22 of this podcast called Dark Oxygen in the Sea, Poop Water in the Seine, then the short version is that there are some metal nuggets sitting in the bottom of the sea, and a lot of nations and companies want to go and scrape them off the ocean floor. Now, the problem is that the ocean floor is an ecosystem that we know nothing about. There is CO2 capture that's happening from these little nodules, and the companies are competing who goes first and don't want to listen to the scientists who are saying, do not disrupt an ecosystem before we study it. It's a big topic, and every single big country in the world is trying to do it. They're all gathered around with their ships in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. I highly suggest look at either my episode or John Harris released a video called The 16 Trillion Race to Mine the Ocean. It's a long one, but it's incredibly well done journalistic work that explains what is going on. These little metallic nuggets have basically the 4 metals that we're using for electronics and for batteries, and there are billions of them sitting at the bottom of the sea. The problem is, it's probably a very bad idea to go scrape them off the bottom of the sea. So follow the global geopolitical power plays that have sparked this debate over the environmental risk in deep sea mining. The second one is about our favorite PFAS or forever chemicals or microplastics. They're gaining a lot of traction. I told you a few episodes ago how we have about 7 to 8 grams of microplastics already in our brains, the equivalent of a plastic spoon. But now Veritasium has made a video as well. It's titled How One Company Secretly Poisoned the Planet. Quite a wild title, but basically it explains how a company that was making the first PFAS, the first forever chemicals, knew that they are getting everywhere and they were just dumping it into the rivers and the land around them. When after decades of court orders they were asked to stop using them, they just changed 2 molecules, essentially creating the exactly same chemical, and continued saying, you cannot prove that this one is bad too. And after that they tweaked it again. So with a game of whack-a-mole, the thing that you hit it and then it comes in the next hole, or a hydra, you cut one head and 2 heads are spawning. They continued making these forever chemicals for decades to come, and they are now into everyone. These 2 videos are my highest recommendation for you. The next time you're eating something or you want to just sit down, don't put any of the classic things you have. I know that these habits are very needed to relax your brain and have your routine, but you won't regret it. Give these 2 videos a chance to understand some of the biggest topics that I believe will shape the next decades. And again, this is one, The 16 Trillion Race to Mine the Ocean by Johnny Harris, and the second one by Veritasium, How One Company Secretly Poisoned the Planet, talking about the story behind how PFAS were created for the first time after World War II up until today, and how very few companies that have neglected and hidden evidence are still continuing to poison every single person. You know that the microplastic situation is so bad that it's heating up the planet? The phytoplankton, they can do less photosynthesis because they have plastic inside of them. The clouds are reflecting less of the sun rays back, and the ice is reflecting less of the sunlight back into space because these microplastics are slowly taking space. It stops basic functions, it stops basic mechanisms from working. So my take, and welcome back to this episode, is that we are creating a layer of plastic that will cover everything slowly. Do you know how we can look at the different slices of Earth and get information about the previous times? Because everything sits on top of everything. I think we're creating a beautiful layer of carbon and plastic all around. In thousands of years to come, when they dig down, they will be able to find that slice of era where we could have done better, but didn't. Who knows? Maybe we do better. Maybe when PFAS start taking us all out, people join forces and find some sort of way to clean them. For now, they still seem to be forever chemicals. Maybe one way to get away from all of this is for whales to take us to court. And that is something that could happen. Yes, that's right, whales could one day defend themselves in court in their own words. What does this even mean? It means that there is an initiative by a National Geographic explorer who has gathered linguists, biologists, roboticists, and experts in artificial intelligence, and they're trying to document the lives and communications of the Dominica sperm whales. Eventually, what the whole project is and what this team hopes to develop is Google Translate for sperm whales that could decipher their expressions of care, joy, the arrangement of duties that they have, their cries of pain and discomfort. And that's very interesting. If one day we're able to decipher and translate some of the most intelligent animals we have in the planet, perhaps they could be accorded full legal rights. Basically, if you can get a whale to say, "You're killing me, could you please stop," to court, what a world would that be? But I'll slowly let you go. I just wanted to say I'm back, I'm here, random thoughts, news, and this very optimistic view that you get to experience in this podcast will continue. I'm here to stay. I also want to send a message to the spiders of my house. I know they're listening. Hey, I let you survive the winter. Remember? Up there in your corners. I never annoyed you. Sometimes you were coming out the walls, never said anything. Now listen. Now is the time we were all waiting for, okay? I want you to teach your children. Wake them up from their sleep. The time has come. The time for you to protect this house. The weather is getting warmer, and so now we will see fruit flies appearing, mosquitoes, baby moths, whatever it is. Let everything be a meal to you. This is the agreement. Winter has passed, so now you need to get to work. You have been undisturbed for a reason. So I trust that you will be the safety net between me and tiny summer insects that come if I open the windows for air. So do that. Thank you very much. And in the last one, there are way too many things flying around, but the US of A have decided one of the problems they have with Europe is the fact that Europe has GI products, which is products with geographical indications. So they say that we should stop that because it's stopping their exports. It's an obstacle. And this is for the protected destination of origin, PDO. So for example, I cannot call my Parmigiano Reggiano if it's not made in Italy. You cannot call a French champagne if it's not made in France. The same way you cannot call something Feta if it's not made in Greece. The US wants to be able to make a cheese and call it Feta, or to call it Camembert de Normandie, even though it's not made in Normandy, and to be able to make, I don't know, make a mozzarella and stick a label that says it's a mozzarella di bufala campana without being made anywhere in Campana in Italy, without being made from milk of Italian Mediterranean buffaloes and all of that. PDOs are one of the few ways you can understand original products that safeguard the way something was made, the origin, where it comes from, where the milk comes from. So I'm sorry, Mr. Trump, you're not getting our Feta. We are arms together with our Italian and French brothers and sisters saying no thank you. Even the UK has PDO products. Buxton Blue, a special blue cheese they make there, and different lamps. I'm here in Germany. I'm already getting so many of these fake yogurts that write Greek in very small letters, which is the way that they can bypass label guidelines. It's not a Greek yogurt. It's a Greek art yogurt made in the Greek way, basically. So it's already super misleading. Now you will tell me, Hermes, is this the biggest problem we have in the world right now? And I will tell you no, but they cannot take our Feta. And with this, I will wrap it up. No structure, no intro, no outro, no main theme. Some updates, some news, some nagging, some dark side of the world. I will give you a last uplifting thing just to finish off in an upbeat. You know that coral reefs are dying. We're not, it will get better, I promise. There have been scientists trying in different ways to help attract fish in the colonies and make coral reef production bigger. So 2 new ways have proved to work a lot in boosting the coral reefs. One is to create sounds that attract fish, and they make sounds like it's a bustling coral reef. It has a lot of things going on, so the fish can hear it from afar and navigate there. And that slowly brings more fish, more life, and the coral reef gets back in order. And now the second one has been a special ink that's been discovered by a pink algae. And scientists use that because they observe that this helps fish attract new colonies, and it's very effective. So coral reef production is boosted by these 2 methods. So the race against the destruction of marine biology and aquamarine life has some victories on the coral reef side. There you have it. Thanks for listening. It's been an episode. I've been me, and I'll keep on doing this, hopefully in a little bit more structure from next time. Until then, lots of love. Ciao.